This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of Gun Sports Radio, where your hosts, Dave Stahl, Lance Pelkey, and Michael Schwartz, educate you on anything and everything related to our Second Amendment right. Visit gunsportsradio.com with your questions and comments, or to learn how to become a sponsor and or guest of the show. Now here comes Hour 2 of Gun Sports Radio, and your hosts, Dave, Lance, and Michael.
All right, folks, welcome back. You're listening to FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Show 184. Who would have thought? Man, I tell you. Hey, our second hour great sponsor is Cali Key. I'm telling you, Cali Key's the best. Drop in a Cali Key into your AR-15 or 10. Boom. Instantly make it California compliant. For more information, check out Cali Key at calikey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. Hey, don't forget you can catch our shows on all of your podcast platforms. It's easy. Gunsportsradio.com. That's gunsportsradio.com. Hey, for self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, you know, and unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year with the comprehensive self-defense coverage of an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither do they. What's your plan to defend yourself or your family? Consider a plan from U.S. Law Shield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. That's uslawshield.com. All right, this segment is brought to you by the San Diego County Gun Owners. $10. Come on, folks, $10 a month.
Everybody's talking about them. You got to join.
You, everywhere you go, you don't want to be left
out. CCW, you join San Diego County Gun Owners.
That's right.
Now.
They got cool swag. They got hats and shirts. You can be proud. Show your Second Amendment rights. So join them today. That's SDCGO.org, SDCGO.org, or San Diego County Gun Owners.com.
And that's where you find Joe Drammissi.
Yeah, the blogger.
The blogger.
There we go.
Mystery man of mystery.
The covert co-host.
The business card.
I like the
blank.
covert co-host.
So I guess we got to talk about a blog this week.
Yeah.
That's my turn here.
Fire away, as they say on the show.
More than welcome.
So this week we talked about, or I wrote about waiting periods. And I was reading I think there was an article in Guns and Ammo this last month or something about waiting periods. So that's a good subject. So let me take that a little bit farther. Because we had, I guess when that came about, when they passed the Brady bill, I think in 93, and there was actually a federal waiting period. There's a waiting period all over the country. And then a couple of years later, I think in 98, the NICS system came online with the background investigations, and they did away with that waiting period. So there's still, there's probably 13 or so states around the country that have waiting periods. The last data I looked at, it was like from 2015, I think, and they had 10 of them. And I know there have been a couple of more since then, but it wasn't. I didn't want to go through and look state by state and total them all up, but there's probably about 12 or 13 of them now. And the waiting periods. The question in the article that I wrote is, do they really save lives or do they not? And there's usually three arguments, I guess, that people, when they talk about the waiting systems or waiting periods. And what that is when you purchase a gun, okay, I can't take the gun home with me that day. I've got to wait, some arbitrary amount of time anywhere. Some states have like a 3-day waiting period. We have a 10-day period out here in California.
We lovingly refer to that as the jail time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for your gun.
Right.
And usually the arguments there, they talk about, giving law enforcement enough time to do a good background check to make sure the wrong people aren't buying guns, I guess. So that's one argument. The other argument is kind of the cool down period to prevent crimes of passion. If you want to, you decide you want to kill somebody and you're going to run to a gun shop to buy a gun to go do that. So I guess this is supposed to help with that. And, when they do that kind of stuff, if we take the first one, because I think I've lost my track here, my train of thought.
Well, let's talk about the cooling off period. I mean, why didn't someone just take their autonomous car and
and that's what you have the cooling, you have the allow law enforcement enough time to do their background check. You have the cooling off period, and then you have the thing with suicides, and that's usually the big three things that they argue about. And if you start with the first one with law enforcement, the background checks that they do for guns are pretty much instantaneous now with the NICS system.
Is that like the ammo background check?
In theory, yes.
So I'm slower than you guys. So what's the data showing that a person gets angry, goes to a gun store, buys a gun, leaves, and shoots that person that they were mad at? What's the data that shows that as a real problem and we need to nip it in the bud?
And that kind of stuff is almost non-existent. I'm sure it happens. There's 330 million of us here. I'm sure somebody has done that. But for the most part, that doesn't happen because a lot of this is domestic violence kind of stuff.
And he's already got a gun.
And you're a car guy, Dave. They probably mow him down with a car before they use a gun.
Then we're going to ban cars.
There you go.
Well, even if they don't have the guns, they say with domestic violence, when someone shoots their partner, their spouse or whatever, something like that, they say that's almost never a one-time crime of passion thing. These things build up over time. Usually with those people, they're known to law enforcement. Law enforcement's been to the residence several times on domestic violence calls. These things build up over time, and they culminate in murder or something like that.
Do they call that the straw that broke the camel's back?
Could be, yes, the last straw.
All right, you say that to me one more time. Guess what?
But so it's the idea that it has something to do with this cool down period really isn't that.
But they got to come up with something because they don't have anything to come up with.
Well, and they do, and unfortunately, there's they cite research. If you go on like the Brady organization, places like that, there's research that's not really, a lot of the stuff is taken out of context, or they're some of it's just outright just not true. And if you look at that kind of stuff, there's a book that I just finished reading. It was I think it's called Guns, Freedom in America by a doctor named Faria. And he talks about how the medical research got corrupted because of the anti-gun stuff. Back in the 90s, the CDC decided to go after or to address gun violence, as an epidemic, I guess. And he said at that time he was the editor of the Journal of American Medicine in Georgia, and he thought, great, that's a great subject to get into, domestic violence. I want to do that. And as he started getting into it, what they call gun violence, I hate to use that term, but they call it gun violence, was a part of that. And he started looking at the research that was being done. And he said it was shocking because what they were doing was they were twisting the medical research. And he had a term for it, but the idea was you do research to arrive at a preconceived conclusion that you've already reached. And then you try to do research to support that. And what it was doing was it was taking away the credibility of legitimate medical research by doing this. And they were publishing this stuff in medical journals, and the AMA was behind it. And so he started writing, exposing that stuff. And after, I think, a year or two, it cost him his job. And so now he's been a crusader for Second Amendment rights and that kind of truthful research since then. But you could find, what I would call phony research that supports some of these arguments that they make on the left. And the thing with the suicides, because you always see that term, if you look at numbers that people like Bloomberg and the Brady Group and all those people throw out there, they'll say there's 35,000 gun deaths or something in the country each year. And that's kind of true, but, out of the 33,000, 23,000 of them are suicides. And, suicide is not a gun issue. It's a mental health issue. And you could look at countries around the world that have severe gun restrictions, like Japan, for instance. Pretty much nobody owns a gun in Japan unless you're a policeman or unless you're in the military or you're a criminal.
Right.
And they have one of the highest suicide rates, much higher than we have in the U.S. And nobody has a gun. So guns are really not a suicide issue. And, as far as waiting periods go, I suppose if there's an impulse suicide, which does happen, if someone really wants to do that, I guess they go into a store, they buy a gun, and they shoot themselves.
Well, they get in the car and they put the garden hose in through the window and do that too.
They drive into the cave or the bridge abutment at 80 miles.
There you go.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If you go into some gun ranges, I don't know if say all gun ranges. I know where I go, like a Poway, for instance. they won't. If you walk in and you want to rent a gun to shoot and you're by yourself, they won't rent you one.
Most of them won't.
And,
they won't.
And that's a suicide thing because that's happened in the past.
Sure.
But generally speaking, if you really want to commit that, or you really want to do that, you're going to do it. It's, okay, a waiting period stopped you from buying a gun. Great. You'll figure out another way.
Well, it's a great topic. And you're right. I think I read the same article in Guns and Ammo as well. And it's a great topic. And, we appreciate your blogs are amazing.
That's a great one, yeah.
And so.
All right, folks.
Keep it up, brother.
Okay. Make sure you get back there, San Diego County gun owners. Check out the blog section. I bet you have a big button, right?
There's a big blog button.
Good. Yeah, there you San Diego. It needs to say the covert blogger.
Yeah, it's got to be called. I like that.
Now we got branding going on here.
Yeah, now we're rocking, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Covert
We still got 45 minutes of rocking and rolling right here on FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks. Welcome back to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
California's assault weapon law makes it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What's the solution? Cali Key converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull-bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, and no turning off your gas system. Keep your entire AR collection intact with a price you can afford with Cali Key. Check out Cali Key at calikey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. Hey, we've got the good folks at U.S. Law Shield calling in, and I think we've got the infamous Frank.
We got the infamous Frank. Frank, are you on board, baby?
I am. How you doing, gentlemen?
We're doing great, and so you've recovered from the flu?
Oh, man, that SHOT Show flu they talk about is no joke. Let me tell you, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
That's tough.
We're glad to hear you bounce back, okay?
And have you tried my place, a place called The Foodery? It's a restaurant right there at 9th and Market yet?
I have not. I've not gotten over there, but I definitely, it's on the bucket list to do for sure.
Give that place a try. They've got an amazing takeout. They do a happy hour. Everything's like $5 or $6.
What kind of food?
The food, it's Italian, but it's really all homemade, all fresh. It is excellent. So just FYI. So anyway, we appreciate you coming on. U.S. Law Shield, you guys do an amazing job. All these people getting CCWs, they need to have some kind of legal protection. You guys provide that. But the neat thing too is all this great education that classes that you guys put on all the time. You're always doing something. So what do you got stacked up for us next couple months?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously the listeners should know by now, we kind of, talk about this often, that obviously U.S. Law Shield, there's three main benefits. Obviously the first is going to be your 24/7, 365 emergency hotline that you can call and the attorney is going to answer. The attorney is going to coordinate your location and obviously come out and be with you from start to finish of your legal battle. And the biggest thing with that is there's no caps, no limits, or no deductibles to that program. You simply pay your membership fee. We'll cover 100% of your attorney fees. The next one, obviously, is the non-emergency business line where you can call and ask any firearms law or self-defense law question and get an attorney answer who's going to cite penal codes and case law. That's a phenomenal resource in itself. But like you were talking about, the continued education is one of the biggest ones that I really like. Our motto with U.S. Law Shield is we want our members to be armed, but we also want them to be educated because ignorance to the law is not an excuse.
Yeah.
So we actually have three still in the month of February that I'll talk about real quick.
Okay.
Two of which are in San Diego. One is in Riverside. So the ones in San Diego are coming up. It's actually on February 19th. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I believe that is a Thursday or a Wednesday. I'm not.
Dave will look it up.
I know it's a Wednesday. So February 19th, it's a Wednesday. It's at 511 Tactical over with our friends over there.
In Mission Valley?
It's 511. In Mission Valley. Thank you very much.
That's a terrific store. If listeners haven't been there before, that's a great place. Great stuff. I totally
agree. Yes, for sure. So that one is going to be an emergency first aid for gunshot wounds taught by our instructors, obviously, who are on the U.S. Law Shield team. But these guys, obviously, that's not their main profession. You're going to be learning from these guys who in their main profession is going to be EMTs, a couple combat medics. So really, really good resources and phenomenal resources. Not only so the class is obviously called Emergency First Aid for Gunshot Wounds. We're going to go over that, but it's also very good for everyday life situations. They're going to talk about the fastest way to stop the bleed, quickest way to handle a laceration. Maybe, you're at home and, maybe it's Thanksgiving or Christmas and somebody's, running around to get the last meal prepared and they slip and fall with a knife maybe. That, stuff like that. Maybe you're the witness or in a car accident and need to, help somebody stop the bleed, maybe open an airway. They're going to go over all this type of first aid information. It's a phenomenal class. And with 511, all of these classes are for free. So if any of the listeners want to come out, just come on by 511 on February 19th. The class is going to run from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
And like I said, it's a phenomenal class just for everyday use. You never know when something, God forbid, not even with a firearm, could happen that you might have to step in and potentially save somebody's life.
Joe, have you taken any kind of gunshot wound classes? I have not.
No, it's interesting though. As I had my EMT certification for like 25 years, and then the same thing for ski patrol for a dozen years.
True.
And we would go through and recert every year. It was every 2 years for EMT, every year for that, and they never talked about gunshot wounds. It's very interesting.
Like a ski pole going through you probably, but not.
Well, again, I think the
wound.
approach from their point of view is the same. You're dealing with that kind of a wound, but it always interested me, especially after I started learning that why do we not talk about gunshot wounds?
Mm-hmm. So, Frank, let me ask you this: do people have to register?
So there is if they go to www.gunlawseminar, just as it sounds, gunlawseminar.com, they can click the drop-down arrow to the California. They can register. Now, if somebody finds out about the class last minute, I most likely will be there. So if they come in and hear they heard about the class on Gun Sports Radio and they want to walk in, that's totally fine as well. We're not going to turn anybody down from this great continuing education. So if they register, that's awesome. We definitely push people to register.
Yeah, that way you have the materials and everything. Yeah, it makes sense to register. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I just did. I like to brag, but I can imagine if everybody and their mother showed up and you looked out in the parking lot, because of this wonderful radio show, that you're not going to be able to accommodate. So I just wanted to throw that out there so people can get us a definite spot.
Yeah, good idea.
And be able to come down and enjoy the show.
For sure. I greatly appreciate that. We do, have materials for walk-ins, but like you said, if everybody and their mother shows up, it might be a little bit of a sticky situation to get everybody some stuff. For sure. So the second one we have coming up is with our friends at Discount Gun Mart. That's also in San Diego. That one is going to be Wednesday, the 27th of February from 6 to 8:30. And that one is going to be an active shooter seminar. So our active shooter title is Active Shooter Getting Out Alive. That one's going to be taught by one of our friends, Morgan Ballas. Obviously a phenomenal, highly respectable, trainer who teaches out of Fallbrook. But he's come on the U.S. Law Shield team, and he's got a phenomenal amount of experience with this this specific topic. So he's going to be teaching our active shooter class. Yeah. The active shooter class online is actually sold out right now. Judy Wells, who is obviously the Girl in a Gun Connect for San Diego, she did a phenomenal job pushing this. She's great. She's great. So me and Judy have been going back and forth, and we're going to have a lot of the Girl in a Gun members there. However, like I said, I'm going to be at that one for sure. I'll never turn anybody down. So if anybody wants to show up and says they couldn't register online, even if it's standing room only, we will have some extra materials for everybody. So that's definitely one you don't want to miss. Unfortunately, in today's world, we unfortunately see a lot of this stuff going on. So this is definitely material that is definitely good for everybody and everyone, even if you're not a gun person, just to come out and hear.
And Morgan does a great job also. He's a board member of San Diego County Gun Owners.
Yes, he is. And a great instructor.
And a great instructor. Yeah. And we've had him on the show numerous times. Mm-hmm. And Judy Wells, we have her on every month talking about all things women.
Yeah, it's another great instructor.
So
Judy's great.
So I'm excited to have all those good minds in one room. It should be a phenomenal class.
Well, plus you're there too with all your experience, man. That's just terrific. People have a lot of resources here in San Diego.
Oh yeah, all you gotta do is network.
Step up, man.
It's called networking.
Have fun.
Yeah, don't run away. Stay here and fight.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So the last one we have is a little north. It's in Riverside, and that's one's going to be with our friends at Bullseye Sport up in Riverside, and that's going to be a justified use of force class. That's taught by one of our attorneys here in San Diego. Simply put, justified use of force and deadly force is defined in each state differently. So depending on what part of land you're in the United States, you should know that definition, whichever state you're in. Obviously, this one's going to tie into California. Coming up in March, we are going to have a seminar with John Dillon. I'm working out dates and location right now. If the users or if the listeners just listened or check a gun law seminar, probably towards the end of the week, we are going to do an updated legislation for red flag laws and everything and anything that anybody needs to know about the updated legislation of red flag laws and how to protect themselves from that. So that's going to be a very good class, and I suspect that one to fill up very quickly as well.
What was the date for that one? I didn't have my pencil handy.
So this that one is not up on the website yet. I'm still working out with John. As we know, John is a terrifically busy guy, and he's doing some great work for not even San Diego, but the United States as a whole. He's doing a great job.
Yes,
so
he is.
what we're doing is we're working out dates right now. I would say that that seminar should be up on the Gun Law Seminar website here probably by the end of this upcoming week. That should be up with a date and a location.
That's another really, really, really good topic because, people get that wrong. They're getting their CCWs. They're taught this in the CCW class, but, you just can't talk about it enough, I don't think, especially in California.
Without a doubt.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, man, you guys got a lot of exciting things happening. That's uslawshield.com. Folks should definitely be looking at that, for a resource. If they're thinking about CCW, if they have one, geez, if you just have a baseball bat in your house, right?
Yeah, any form of self-defense. We cover from, using your fists all the way up to pressing that trigger.
Just defending yourself down in, downtown at Gaslamp or whatever the case may be. Weird stuff happens. So give these guys a call.
All right, buddy.
Totally right.
All right, thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I hope you come on again soon.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get you on here.
Great
more
job,
often.
Frank.
Hey, thank you, Frank.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Why? Because you're listening to FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Folks, welcome back. Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Excuse me. Hey, do you need to take a CCW class for San Diego CCW? Well, do you want Arizona, Florida, or other multi-state CCW? Visit ccwusa.com. CCW USA offers small class sizes, expert instructions to fit your schedule and your wallet. 3 classes every month. 2 weekend classes, all starting at 8 a.m. Classes fill up quickly, so book now. Private lessons are available too. Great dates and times to meet your busy schedule. Check out their website for details and apply for your San Diego or other multi-state CCW at ccwusa.com. That's ccwusa.com. Hey folks, have you been to AOSword Firearms in El Cajon yet? Well, we keep telling you, you need to get over there. They've got the widest selection of guns in San Diego County, with over 600 unique guns in stock, including hundreds of used guns. Go see their full-line experienced gunsmith as well. And they can do everything from mild repair to full custom firearms. AOSword Firearms store is located 929 East Main Street in the city of El Cajon. Go to their website at aosword.com, or you can call them at 619-749-4867. Build, buy, or repair. AOSword Firearms is your go-to place for all things firearms. That's aosword.com. Again, call them at 619-749-4867. Who you got coming on now, son?
So we got our brother David Chong calling in, and David, are you on the line?
I am.
Oh, man.
Hey, another wonderful day.
How's your weekend?
It's good. I'm feeling better because with much sympathy for my friend Frank, who was just on the show. I thank God that we were healthy at the SHOT Show, but every single one of us came back and immediately got the SHOT Show crud.
No
we were
kidding.
so sick.
All on the same plane coming back.
Yeah, I don't know,
that's
man.
horrible.
It's a annual tradition, I guess. It's still worth it. The show is amazing.
There you go.
Yeah, that's really cool. So we were talking earlier about, like kind of favorite rifles at Ruger PC9. And then, today you're going to talk about shotguns.
I am. One of the things
So
I
much
did
fun.
actually as a correspondent for the radio show, I put up a bunch of videos just doing a 1-minute look at some interesting guns I saw at the show for the first time. One of those was the TS-12 semi-automatic shotgun from IWI, and I just finally got 3 in the store. Only 2 are going to be sold because the other one's going home with Daddy.
Nice.
But these things are amazing. Semi-automatic shotgun with a real pistol grip, so you hold it like a tactical rifle or a tactical shotgun, and it's a bullpup, so it's really short overall length. 15 plus 2 rounds. 17-round capacity inside the gun. How do you do that in California? Because it's a rotating magazine. So it's 3 separate quote-unquote magazines of 5. And you push the magazine selection button with your trigger finger, and you rotate the next magazine into position, and you got 5 fresh rounds. That's really neat too, because you can differentiate between maybe some buckshot and some slug, or 2 different types of buck if you want to do family-friendly rounds, number 1 or number 4 buck, depending on your philosophy and your home construction.
It looks like a space gun.
Yeah,
I mean,
it doesn't even look like
awesome.
a shotgun.
You guys got to look this thing up. TS-12 by ISI.
My.
IWI.
IWI.
Israeli Weapon Industry.
That's right.
Those Israeli knows a thing or two about making guns.
Yeah.
Holy, that thing is amazing. Have you fired it?
I have. I've already taken mine to the range, and man, it's fun. I am going to. It's a new manual of arms for me, so I'm used to running the Tavor. I'm used to running bullpup shotguns. This is going to be replacing my UTAS 15, which is a 15-round, 7 plus 7 plus 1, but that's a pump. And man, I love the way that runs. But
and you're selling that
semi-automatic.
And you're selling that?
Yeah.
You are not. You are not. Gun people don't sell nothing. You have a big enough safe.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have an extra one in the shop. That's the go. But no, my UTAS will stay, because you never know when you need a second shotgun. Or a fourth, or whatever.
I know how you roll. I bet you have a big safe, because everything new comes out that gets you all excited. You got to have it.
So it's got that big rail on there. So do you run in flashlights? An optic maybe on that shotgun?
It's a great question. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about shotguns today is because here's a new piece in my arsenal, and I've been toying with a bunch of different stuff. And one of the great things about being a store owner with a big tactical inventory is I pull out all the stuff and I try it out, and I say, hey, what about this? What about that? And I'm looking at all the different configurations to go on this shotgun. I'm thinking, maybe people don't realize just how much there is out there potentially that you can do to a tactical shotgun, and how much is too much, and what's the right answer. And so the things I'm looking at are relieving the loading port so I can get my thumb in there a little bit easier, in and out without scraping it up. I'm looking at a flashlight, because bad guys usually come out in the dark, just like cockroaches. I don't need a laser on it, although some people really love to have a laser in case they want to fire from the hip. That's not the way I roll, because I have learned that shotguns need to be aimed. There's a misconception that you shoot a shotgun down a hallway and it's going to just take out anything in the hallway, and it's just not true. Anybody who there's so many people out there who have a shotgun set up and say, oh yeah, I'm just going to rack the slide and that'll make everybody go away. But maybe it won't. Maybe somebody will say, oh,
now I know where they are, and I have my own gun, and so now I'm going to shoot them. So if you have to ever actually fire that thing in self-defense, it darn well shouldn't be the first time you've ever actually fired the shotgun and seen what it does and seen how it feels. Take it to the range. Put a paper target downrange at whatever your standard distance might be in your house where you'd actually have to shoot something, and that might be about 15 feet. And shoot that paper target with whatever buckshot load you're going to run, and I'd suggest definitely buckshot, not birdshot, because birdshot just makes a gory wound. It's not the same as a slug at 5 feet. It's absolutely different. In just the same way that you guys know what a dead blow hammer is? It's got sand or BBs in it instead of solid steel.
No.
It's a tool. So it's a hollow hammer, and it has little BBs in it. And when you swing it and hit something, instead of bouncing back like a solid hammer does, it just literally just sort of sits there on the ground, because those little individual flowing BBs act more like a liquid than a solid when they hit the surface, and so it doesn't go bing and recoil back. Well, it's kind of the same thing I'm trying to tell you about birdshot. Birdshot just flows around the tissue and bones of your target. And so you're going to create I'm sorry to be graphic, but a very gory surface wound of flesh damage, but it's not going to go through bone where you need to get to do an immediate stop on a bad guy who's trying to hurt you right now.
So you just made him mad. Okay. Basically.
Yeah. Maybe a guy who's very afraid of bleeding, he's going away, but we're not worried about those guys. We're worried about the guys who are committed to ending you today.
And you just made him mad.
And we want to stop them right now.
Yeah, you just made him mad.
Okay, so the point is you need to aim your shotgun, because you'll be surprised at how little of a pattern that buckshot load makes at 15 yards.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
15 feet.
Yeah, even 15 feet.
It's very, very tight. So some people do want a laser, but you definitely need sights that you can see in the dark. My favorite there are ghost ring sights. That has a kind of a round circle in the back and a nice glow-in-the-dark blade up front. Those are an easy add-on. Another way to go is a red dot or a reflex sight, just the same way you would with a close quarters rifle or that PC carbine you were talking about earlier. That's going to give you a really nice sight picture. And then you might need extra ammo. I would tell you, you're probably not going to need extra ammo in your Utahs or your TS-12 with 15 rounds plus a couple. If you can't finish a conversation in 17 rounds of 12 gauge, then you probably shouldn't be talking.
Yeah, no kidding.
But for a traditional, pump shotgun, your Mossberg 500 or your Remington 870, you may only have 5 rounds in your pipe, and if you want to do a change from buckshot to a slug to get through a barrier or something like that, you could pull something off of either a sidecar or if any of you have seen the John Wick films, he has something called a match saver. That's right in front of the loading port or the ejection port, excuse me. He just reaches right by there, pulls it right into the ejection port, into the chamber itself, and fires off one more round to quote unquote save the match, as if he was in a 3-gun competition.
You like that
sidecars?
You like that guy too, huh?
Yeah. Oh, he's fun. Gung Fu. Yeah. If you look at my profile on Facebook, it's a picture of John Wick dressed up like a saint.
I know. I'd like to be the guy that sells them ammo.
Yeah, me too.
Goodness gracious. Oh, my Lord. Anyway, I digress. And I'm glad you mentioned my shotgun. A Mossberg.
Yes.
So I've got a Mossberg 500. Can you put a scope on that or a light?
Absolutely.
Really?
Those are pre-tapped for rails up top, so that's something that you can mount your sight to.
I may come down and see you.
You can put a flashlight on there too.
Yeah, I may come down and see you.
Hey, David, when you came back from SHOT Show, you mentioned I think it was an Ivor Johnson shotgun that was new that you were really impressed with. Is that? Do you have do you have that on your YouTube site? Because I couldn't find it when I looked around for it.
It is. It's in the YouTube AOSword Shot 2020 playlist.
Okay, I'll take a look on your site because I didn't think to look on your site. I was just looking and I couldn't find that anywhere.
Yeah, if you go to YouTube and then go to my channel AOSword, the SHOT Show first looks are all there. You can even search by Gun Sports Radio and it'll come up because you're tagged.
Sweet.
Okay, great.
Yeah. There you go.
I tell you what, we're talking about shotguns. I have over 50 used and pre-owned, some never been fired, good as new in the box shotguns. I am way overstocked. I've just been buying them from folks upgrading or trading them in or moving, whatever. 20% off any of my shotguns, any of my used shotguns.
And you know what? And for those people that don't have one, or if you just have one, I mean, they're fabulous.
They are.
And that buckshot is just the best.
Yeah.
And those 9 pellets, unfortunately, when they hit somebody, they don't get back up.
No,
generally.
they don't get back up.
Hey, David, and you have over-under and side-by-side guns as well there?
Everything. Over and under,
Stagecoach
side-by-side, double-barrel shotguns. I have bolt-action shotguns. I have semi-auto. I have sporting shotguns for clays or trap if you want to play some clay pigeon games or hunt.
Well, it looks like I'll be down to see you this week.
Bought a ton of them. Yeah. Come on down. We got them.
Well, it's a good thing. A good thing you have a name on the side of your wall because people will think you're a hoarder.
I'll tell you, this show costs me so much money.
I know it does. I know. Hey,
great.
the guy's taking his hobby and he's turning it into a living because you are a plethora of knowledge, man. I got to tell you, you're almost as good as Sam the Gunman, who's going to be coming up next. Have you heard him?
He's a good guy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to I'm waiting for you to stump him.
I know. He's the toughest kid in the world to stump. Buddy, it's always good talking to you. Come up with some questions because we're running dry.
I'm going to feed you some ringers, and you're going to stump them.
All right. But,
That's good.
But it's going to come from AOSword, so people can go down and thank you for stumping Sam the Gunman. Coming up next, right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right. California assault weapon laws make it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What's the solution? Cali Key converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution, no milling, no aesthetic modifications, and no turning off your gas system. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. Check out Cali Key at calikey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. Self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side. While you protect your family and protect U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year with the comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does our coverage. What's your plan after you defend yourself or your family? Consider a plan from U.S. Law Shield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. That's uslawshield.com. Boy, prime mortgage rates have been dropping. Holy moly. And if you're thinking about refining, buying, selling, or even doing a reverse mortgage, you need to call a mortgage guy you can trust. Well, here he is, Chris Wiley, PRMI Mortgage. That's right. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Call Chris Wiley at 619-722-1303 or just go to primeres.com/Alpine. All right, you're in the seat.
Here we go, baby.
Here we go, baby.
Real quick, I want to mention to listeners, go to SDCGO.org, SDCGO.org. That's San Diego County Gun Owners. Look at their voter guide. Talking about warriors. So they vet the various folks running for office in San Diego County, and they've got a really good lineup. So if you're curious as to who to vote for or need to get some ideas and your friends do, just download the voter guide. And I just want to make sure people remember
Yeah,
that.
and with San Diego County gun owners, we focus on local politicians, and it's important to find out how your local guys stand on the Second Amendment, because it's a lot easier with state level and national people. You pretty much know where they stand. But how do council members, how do supervisors look at it? And you can find that out on the San Diego County gun owners site.
And if you ever run across them, ask them. And donate to the fundraisers
and thank him as well.
Anyway, this is our segment for
Sam the Gunman.
That's right. Michael calls it Stump, my nephew.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm outstanding. How are you guys?
Just living the dream. How's the weather back there?
It's not terrible. It's been cloudy and rainy for about the past week and a half, so pretty typical Virginia winter weather.
I gotcha. And how are gun sales going in the gun shop?
Well, they're going okay, but not for a reason I would like. We have a bill going up in our state legislature in what's called the House of Delegates, which is the lower house, called HB 961, which is basically an assault weapons ban even more restrictive than yours. And the way it's looking, it has a pretty decent chance of passing.
Wow. Again.
Catching up with California.
Yeah.
So, man. Well, let's talk about our question. We have our question in. This is from David of Encanto. And David from Encanto, I guess he's like one of these World War I historian people or something like that. So I know maybe before you were born, but anyway, so David from Encanto is asking, in the First World War, the Austro-Hungarian officers and some soldiers were given this sidearm. What is the sidearm?
Model of 1907. Is that the right answer?
Yeah, that basically is it. Yeah, so it's yes, and so the one answer that we could look for would be the Steyr M1912. But as Sam the Gunman rightfully pointed out, that it was the M1907 that was probably one of the first ones that came on board, and then the 1912 came from there. So, man, you nailed that one.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and by the way, just for future reference, you were correct in saying that World War I occurred before I was born.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, we want to make sure that it's totally on top of it. So let's go back to the topic of gun sales in the shop. So you're getting a little uneasy feeling. What are you basically seeing?
Yeah, there's definitely this uneasy feeling, as you put it, that seems to be shared by a lot of people. It's kind of putting a damper on everyone's moods, because either this stuff passes and then suddenly Virginia virtually overnight goes from free state to having the most restrictive gun control laws of any state in the union, or it doesn't pass and it passes in another year from now.
Oh yeah.
So even if it doesn't pass immediately, it really signals a change in Virginia politics toward this very restrictive anti-gun kind of stance, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Are you selling any more, guns because of this? Ahead of it?
Magazines, actually, because one of the among the provisions are that the so-called assault weapons will be grandfathered in, but magazines will not. If this passes, they will become illegal overnight. So people are trying to stock up and maybe bury them in their backyards, maybe lose them in a boating accident.
Well, look on the bright side here, Sam, because because that was such a radical shift and it worked. It happened so fast. I think it woke up Virginians to this stuff, and I think you guys are really going to get your rights back in the next election. You're going to show these people how it is, because what happened in California is it happened slowly over time, and nobody did anything, and then we got into the mess we're in, which hopefully won't work that way in Virginia.
Yeah. If they would have done it the way we did it, we wouldn't even be talking about it, because it already be enacted. But the fact that they slammed the door and made all this noise, now there's all kinds of people looking at it, and that's not really what they were looking for.
Yeah, this is kind of an inflection point in the national debate about gun control. Either Virginia falls, then tomorrow it's North Carolina, then the next day it's Texas, or the people of Virginia come together and stand and fight and say, hey, we won't we won't allow our rights to be eroded in this way.
Right.
And then the people in the other banned states start, waking up, opening their eyes and going, hey, wait a minute, we can actually do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And my opinion on this is I think this is all old news. And what I mean by that is I think before the tail was wagging the dog, now we've got cases up with the Supreme Court where we didn't have before. So 10 years ago, when all this was going down, we were fighting an uphill battle. Now we've pushed all those rocks up the hill. So my feeling is that we're going to start winning these Supreme Court cases. And then this is going to knock the rest of these guys down. It's a game changer. So hang in there, buddy.
Yeah.
Tell your friends to hang in there. Keep fighting.
I will. We definitely will.
Virginia spirit.
Well, and I think, like I said, it woke a lot of people up. And I think this awareness is kind of turning the light on in the kitchen and all the cockroaches take off.
With John Dillon, we're nailing it.
Yeah, we're nailing it. But it's going to take all of us to do it, all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast, north to the South.
Right. And our covert blogger.
Well, yeah, and on the other hand, too, while you're waiting for these things to change, if it does go badly, there's a whole host of little devices to make your ARs California goofy like ours are.
Right.
And you'll be okay for a while.
Called a Cali key. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope worse doesn't come to worse. I hope you guys can keep it in California.
Thank you very much. We're more than happy to loan it to you.
Out of business.
Are we going to see you at Gun Prom?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well,
no one's told you yet, right?
Say again?
No one has told you yet, anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I'll find out.
Yeah, especially when you're heading to the airport. No, I'm only kidding. All right, buddy. Hey,
I'll let you guys know.
All right, it's good talking to you. Say hi to the family, and we'll go after you next week.
All right, thanks for having me on.
All right, folks, that's Sam the Gunman. Boy, what a question. Hey, before we go, I just really want to thank our sponsors, Firearms Legal Protection, San Diego County gun owners. Without them, we wouldn't have Joe, the blogger.
Covert blogger.
The covert blogger. I got to change that. CCW USA, U.S. Law Shield, Cali Key. That's great company. PRMI Mortgage. That's PRMI Mortgage. I seen Chris at breakfast the other day, and he says, let's get together.
Rates are coming down. This
I
is
know.
time for people to be looking at their, again, even if they just did it.
Gatsky, Dillon, and Balance LLP is your best firearms lawyer out there. The Gun Range San Diego, the Nordstrom's of gun ranges, just not the price. AOSword Firearm Store. Check them out at AOSword.com. And then, of course, can't thank Lance, Michael Schwartz, Joe Drammissi, Sam the Gunman, and Mr. Wonderful Brendan Thomas, our board op. Without him, we'd be talking to ourselves. Folks, don't give up. Stay and fight. Work with San Diego County gun owners. Email us or send us text messages or whatever. Go to San Diego County, Gun Range San Diego, Gunsportsradio.
Us too.
.com. Gunsportsradio.com. All right, folks, we'll be back next week with a big show right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.